Greeting members, my name is Valentie Cherono. I'm gonna take you through environmental justice and equality. Introduction to environmental justice. Environmental justice ensure fair treatment of all people regarding environmental laws and policies. It also addresses inequalities in exposure to pollution and environmental hazards. It links environmental protection with human rights and social justice. It also focuses on the vulnerable and marginalized communities. Let's see what is the meaning of environmental inequality. Environmental inequalities occurs when a certain group face more environmental risk. Low-income communities often live near dump sites and industrial zones. Limited access to clean water, sanitation, and green spaces. Climate impacts disproportionality affect proper pollutions. Historical background, environmental justice movement gained strength in 1980s. Communities protested toxic waste dumping in poor neighborhoods. Environmental racism became a global concern. The causes of environmental degradation, industrial pollution and waste disposal, deforestation and land degradation, climate change and greenhouse gas emissions, overpopulation and urbanization. Forms of environmental degradation. There is air pollution affecting respiratory health, water pollution from industrial health, soil degradation reducing agricultural productivity, loss of blood diversity in ecosystem imbalance. Let's see who suffer the most. There is low-income communities, indigenous populations, children and elderly people, communities in developing countries. The polluter pays a principle, which polluters should bear the cost of environmental damage, encourages companies to reduce harmful emissions used in environmental laws and regulations. It also promotes accountability and sustainability. The role of governments. Governments should create and enforce environmental laws. They should conduct environmental impact assessment. They should also provide public services like waste management. They should also ensure environmental welfare for citizens. There is also the role for corporations, where they are major contributors to carbon emissions. They should be responsible for industrial waste management. They should also invest in sustainable production methods. They should cooperate social responsibility initiatives. The role of citizens and consumers. They should adopt sustainable lifestyles, reduce, reuse, and recycle waste. They should support environment responsible companies. They should participate in environmental advocacy. The politics of environmental degradation. Economic growth versus environmental protection debate. There is political interest may influence environmental policies. Corruption can weaken enforcement of regulations. Power dynamics shape environmental decisions. Global environmental politics, international climate agreements and negotiations. There is developed versus developing country responsibilities. Financial aid for climate adaptations. Shared but differentiated responsibilities. Let's see the environmental welfare. Protection of public health from pollution. They should access to clean water and sanitization, development of renewable energy sources, and sustainable urban planning. Environmental policies and laws, carbon taxation policies, plastic bans and waste material management laws. They should also have environmental protection acts and green energy initiatives. Change and climate inequality. Poor communities face droughts and floods, food insecurity due to changing weather patterns, climate refugees and displacement, and need for climate justice. Sustainable development, balancing of economic growth and environmental protection, meeting present needs without harming future generations, use of renewable sources, promoting green technologies. Case study of urban pollution. Cities face high levels of air pollution, industrial areas located near residential settlements. These health impacts include asthma and heart diseases, need for better urban environmental planning. Solution to environmental inequality. Stringent environmental regulations, community participation in decision making, environmental education and awareness, investment in clean technologies. Recommendation: enforce polluter pays principles strictly, increase transparency and accountability, promote renewable energy investments, and support vulnerable communities. Conclusion: environmental justice, promote fairness and equality, polluters and governments share responsibility, political commitment is essential, and sustainable future requires collective action. Thank you for listening.